Good afternoon, everyone. You're already gathered around, but if you'll step a little closer, we'll begin our event this afternoon. We're still awaiting one or two dignitaries to arrive, but we'll begin the program and we'll make adjustments as we move along. Well, welcome and thank you for attending today's news conferences, plural. I am Joe Taylor, President and CEO of the Quad Cities Convention and Visitors Bureau and Chair of the Quad Cities Sports Commission. The Bureau and the Commission provide positive economic impact to the Quad Cities by identifying, soliciting, fundraising, and hosting visitors, group tours, meetings, conventions, and in today's special cases, sports events. Sports groups are especially important. They're larger, travel further, stay more nights, and buy more goods and services than a typical visitor. July is normally a busy sports month in the Quad Cities. We've just concluded a successful John Deere Classic and are preparing for the Quad City Times Big 7 run on Saturday, July 26th, and the 6th visit of the Amateur Softball Association, July 30th through August 3rd. So today's announcements make July and future months even busier for our community. First, I want to thank the iWireless Center Executive Director Scott Mullen and his staff for hosting today's media conferences. Could we thank them with a round of applause, please? Elected officials attending today are Moline Mayor Scott Reyes, and I believe we're awaiting Mayor Reyes to arrive, Bettendorf Mayor Robert Gallagher, and Davenport Alderman Mike Matson. Mike, hello. And Rock Island County Board Member Mia Mayberry is represented by Virgil Mayberry. Virgil, you're here somewhere there. Welcome. Our special guests at this event include members of the Illinois Quad Cities Civic Center Authority, members of the board, staff, and partners of the Quad Cities Convention and Visitors Bureau, members of the Quad Cities Sports Commission, members of the Quad Cities Lodging Association, and members of Moline Center. So, for the first of our two media announcements, will Scott Gardner, President of the International Hot Rod Association and owner-operator of Cordova Dragway Park, Nitro Funny Car driver Mike McIntyre Jr., and Jet Dragster driver Elaine Larson please step to the podium.
Well, thank you, Joe. Thank you very much. And again, thank the iWireless Center for allowing us to be a part of this, as well as the Missouri Valley Conference. It's outstanding to be back in the Quad Cities. I am now the president of the International Hot Rod Association, which means I log many, many miles throughout the United States and in Canada. And I'm rarely any place for more than a couple of days at a time, especially my home ground here. So I actually got to meet my wife again, see my house again, got the code to get in. It was all good. The reason we're here this weekend is the IHRA Summer Nationals. It was here at Cordova Dragway Park from 1997 to 2002. And now we are back on a long-term basis and excited to be here. The Quad Cities is such a great market for drag racing, for sports of all types. And the Summer Nationals is definitely a special event and a marquee event for the entire area. What's great about it, we have Nitro Funny Car competition in our biggest field ever in the history of IHRA with 260-mile-an-hour funny cars. We have nitro fuel alters, Mountain Motor Pro stocks with 800 cubic inch engines, Radical top fuel, nitro Harley Davidsons that they lift their wheel all the way down the racetrack as they go. And the first time ever in the Quad Cities we have a real competition with jet cars, which I'll talk about in just a few minutes. What also makes the IHRA and the Quad Cities and Cordova Dragway Park special is that we love to be here. The fans love us, and it's just incredible to be back at home with one of our events, and I represent both sides of the coin, which is a very unique opportunity. So very excited to have a future home with this event and be back to the Quad Cities for a number of years. Racing is Friday and Saturday this weekend at Cordova Dragway Park. Feature shows both evenings. Great weather. Joe took care of that for us. He made sure the weather was going to be great. So we'll be here for a number of years in July, and we're happy about that. Without any further ado, I'm going to reintroduce Mike McIntyre Jr. He's a driver of an 8,000 horsepower Nitro Funny car. This is his first season taking over for his father, who drove the car. He won his very first competition in the car, which is a feat unknown in itself. A very fine young man, and I'm just going to have Mike say a few words. Mike?
Well, thank you, Scott. This is our first time here in Cordova, and we are extremely excited. It's going to be the biggest funny car field that we've seen all year. Big names coming in, and we're ecstatic. The weather is going to be outstanding. It's going to be for some fast runs. Probably some records are going to go down. So I'd get out here. Thank you.
Usually these drivers are people of a few words because they go really fast on the racetrack, with the exception of my next guest. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the new First Lady in drag racing. She is the head of the competition, of which we now have in jet cars, first sanctioning body ever in the world to competitively race jet cars, and this is Jet Dragsters. And to make this even more special, she has a great announcement today, and it also ties into your later announcement coming up by the conference, in that this is an all-gals series, all women pilots. Very exceptional in drag racing, to say the least, when gals are driving 280 to 300 miles an hour in jet cars. Without further ado, the president of Larson Motorsports and the driver, or I should say the pilot of one of their dragsters, Elaine Larson. Elaine?
Well, thank you all, and oh my goodness, is it great to be back here in the Quad Cities. I kind of feel like this is a little piece of home, because us race car drivers, we're nothing but a bunch of gypsies that go from track to track, and let me just tell you, nobody has opened up their homes, their doors, or anything better than Quad Cities and Cordova Dragway. So it's going to be good to go home, good to see all my family and fans and friends. But we have something kind of special. Yes, I drive a dragster, goes about 300 miles an hour, and yeah, I'm a girl. Not too bad. Now, these bad machines pull about 5 G-forces when we launch them, and we do about a 12 G transition to 7 negative Gs when we pull the chutes. That's twice the space shuttle. Now, who would you think would want to drive these monsters that throw flames about 30 feet in the air and, you know, just want to make you all kind of crawl into a fetal position and see if you brought your hot dogs and marshmallows? Well, how about a band of girls? I started this team just with my husband and myself, with just a little dream. You know, we just wanted to be a girl driving a car. Well, then it soon became a jet car, and I had so much fun doing it. I wanted to promote the next generation of racers, just like he is. He's following in his father's footsteps. But me, I don't have a girl, so I had to go look for some girls who wanted to follow in my footsteps. I didn't have to look far before I found the first one, and that would be Miss Kat Moeller, who's a 20-year-old. She's feisty. She looks like she's this little timid girl until she puts her helmet on and her claws come out, and I'm like screaming, going, yikes, what did I get myself into? Well, then I hired another girl. Her name's Marisha Falk. She's a pilot, for crying out loud. This girl flies in the sky really fast, and she likes to fly on the ground. And now, this weekend, I am proud to announce our 4th driver. Well, really our 5th driver, but our 4th driver. This is our first time ever drag racing. She has her competition jet car license, but she has never been down the track in a true competition. She's been licensed since Scott has given his approval, so I'd like to welcome Allison West. Now this girl is fast and furious. Let me just tell you, don't let her little tiny frame think about that, because she knows how to make her car to go down the drag strip really fast. But the best part about Allison is she's like everyone else's little daughter. She loves playing with Legos, she likes playing with robots and that kind of stuff, but she also likes wire and jet dragsters. Now, before she got to drive one of my cars, she actually had to learn how to build and design these race cars, so she's been working on the team with Larson Motorsports for quite a while. And this weekend, you guys are going to get to see, if you come on out to Cordova Dragway, Allison make her first passes and see if she can't kick the boss's butt. Let's hope to see you guys at the races.
Very outstanding. And before I wrap up and turn it back over to Joe, I want to mention that we have the Crop Duster Funny Car of Frank Owsley out in the parking lot for you guys to take a look at. We have the Rat Trap Nitro Funny Car, which, here's another announcement, we're going to do the first fire burnout that in 25 years in drag racing right here at Cordova this weekend with the Nitro Rat Trap Altered, a fire burnout, something you've never experienced in your life, so you have to come out and see it. And of course the jet car of Elaine Larson's out here as well. So our drivers will be available after the conference concludes. I thank you for your time, and I look forward to Joe and the next announcement. Thank you very much.
Those of you who are to my left may want to move just a little bit this way, because I'm going to ask everyone to turn your attention to the screen for our next exciting sports announcement. And following the video, Patty Viverito, Senior Associate Commissioner for the Missouri Valley Conference, will make additional remarks and introductions. We're ready for the video.
The nation's second oldest athletics conference, Missouri Valley Conference, has a revered place in the sport of women's basketball. Featuring 10 NCAA Division I institutions in 5 states, the Valley is one of the premier women's hoops leagues in the country, sending an average of 4 MVC teams to postseason play in each of the last 10 seasons. The 108-year-old conference, the nation's second oldest athletics conference, the Missouri Valley Conference, has a revered place in the sport of women's basketball. Featuring 10 NCAA Division I institutions in 5 states, the Valley is one of the premier women's hoops leagues in the country, sending an average of 4 MVC teams to postseason play in each of the last 10 seasons. The 108-year-old conference has had 2 Final Four teams, Missouri State in 1992 and 2001, a WNIT champion, Missouri State in 2005, and 3 WNIT semifinalists, Illinois State in 2009, 2010, and 2011. The history of MVC women's hoops is filled with notable alumni, including the NCAA's all-time scoring leader, Jackie Stiles of Missouri State, and the NCAA's career rebounding average leader, Wanda Ford of Drake. Coaching legends like Jill Hutchison of Illinois State, Carol Baumgarten of Drake, and Cheryl Burnett of Missouri State are highly recognized innovators and sport. In 2016, the Missouri Valley Conference looks forward to calling its home for the MVC Women's Basketball Tournament, the iWireless Center in the Quad Cities. Featuring all 10 teams, the 4-day tournament begins on Thursday, March 10, and concludes with the championship game on Sunday, March 13th, with all 9 games being televised on ESPN. Current Valley head coaches features a who's who in terms of former Final Four players, including Loyola's Cheryl Swoops, Missouri State's Kelly Harper, and Wichita State's Jody Adams. With a proud past, outstanding coaching and playing pedigree, and an even brighter future, the Missouri Valley Conference can't wait to begin play at iWireless Center in 2016.
Kelly Briscoe is our Assistant Commissioner for Communications. She's our primary women's basketball publicist. Jack Watkins, our Associate Commissioner, heads up our television programming. Jack. Mike Kern, Associate Commissioner, he heads up our public relations efforts. Mike. Derek Dockett, Associate Commissioner, he heads up our social media and is live streaming this back to the folks in St. Louis and around the world. And Jim McIver, he's our General Manager of MVC Sports Properties, who heads up our marketing efforts. One notable absent today is our Commissioner Doug Elgin. He actually had plans to be here, but his stepdaughter is expecting to deliver a baby today, and his wife suggested that it might be best that he stay home. So we thought that was a good excused absence. From the membership, representing the MVC membership, we have two people with us today, two women who are nationally recognized for all they do with women's basketball, not just in the Missouri Valley, but with the NCAA. Jean Berger, our Senior Associate Athletic Director in SWA at Northern Iowa. She recently served a term on the NCAA Women's Basketball Committee, and she generally serves as our league's social chair. And we're actually staying over tonight because we want to get to know all about the Quad Cities. So if you see Jean wandering the streets tonight, she's just doing her job. Also with us today is Leanna Bordner. She's the Deputy AD and Senior Women Administrator at Illinois State. She serves as our membership's liaison to our Women's Basketball Coaches Group, and she's also a member of the NCAA Women's Basketball Issues Committee. The most important thing you need to know about Leanna today, though, is that she presented the Quad Cities bid to our membership at our May meetings when we made the decision about where to go, where to take our tournament. In a minute, I'm going to invite her to the podium to share her enthusiasm about the Quad Cities. When she does, there will be no doubt in your mind why we voted unanimously to come to the Quad Cities, beginning right here at the iWireless Center in 2016. But before I do that, I want to express my personal appreciation for this opportunity to work together with the Quad Cities to host our tournament and to promote Valley women's basketball in this region. From my very first conversation with Joan Krenovich from the CVB through the most wonderful site visit this spring when we got our first introduction to this amazing region, coming to the Quad Cities has felt like moving our family into a brand new house in a wonderful neighborhood, and all of the excitement that that kind of a move entails. We can't wait to work with everyone in our new neighborhood, Joe Taylor and Lynn Hunt and the entire CVB staff, Scott Mullen and his talented and enthusiastic iWireless Center staff, the region's many civic leaders who have already shown great support, the Quad Cities' incredibly engaging media, all the wonderful people in the hospitality industry who work in fine hotels, restaurants, and attractions throughout the region. Everywhere we go, we've been welcomed like family. Your collective enthusiasm for our event is palpable, and we are looking forward to this partnership with equal enthusiasm and commitment. We're glad to be here, and now I'd like to invite Leanna.
Thank you, Patty, and I'd like to congratulate Scott on his events, and I'd be remiss if I didn't congratulate the Quad Cities on the wonderful John Deere Classic last weekend. Being in the state of Illinois, it's something that I always pay attention to. One of our proud graduates, D.A. Wybring, designed and built the course, and of course we've hosted some Missouri Valley Championships on that course, so congratulations on those on that event as well. My first 16 years of my career in athletics, I was an assistant basketball coach. So I evaluated, I recruited, and I sold. In my last 21 years in administration in athletics, I did the same things. And when I left the Quad Cities after our site visit, I felt like I had just found the next Jackie Stiles, Wanda Ford, or Christy Cerrone. It was almost too much to really believe. I can't tell you how impressed we were and how many things that happened that day just affected all of us and really helped us formulate dreams, visions, and where we can really take this tournament. There are several different areas that really impressed us and sold us. And there's a lot of different categories, but the enhancements, the different enhancements that you can bring to our Missouri Valley Conference Women's Basketball Championship. This spring, I went to the Women's Basketball Final Four. Final Four. It was in Nashville, and it was one of the best Final Fours that we had, and it was because people knew the Women's Final Four was in Nashville. They recognized who we were, the value that it brought to the community, and we were welcomed, and that's how we felt when we visited here for our site visit. This is a perfect size arena for Missouri Valley women's basketball. We can see this arena providing so many different enhancements, not only for our student athletes and to enhance our student athlete experience, but certainly for our fans. The ideas of different things we can do here for children in high school age and junior high girls basketball teams. So many opportunities that are very, very exciting. The fact that the hotels are as close as they are for our student athletes and our coaches. Everything is right here. There are so many opportunities for entertainment. And, you know, Patty was teasing, but half serious. Jean has a real tough job here because that's one of the questions that the ADs ask us is, what's it like socially? So we'll work really hard to try to give a good report back to our athletic directors on the social scene. And basically, you know, those are the kinds of things that are important to us, but as well, the enthusiasm. You know, so much time and attention is going to need to be devoted, and it's going to be a true community effort. And we feel like this community, these communities, this area is what we call in athletics all in. Everybody was all in when we made our visit, and we have no reason to believe that everybody is not all in right now and will not be when we show up here for our first championship. The fact that the day we were here for a site visit, we had media coverage. I understand we are on the front page of the paper today, above the fold. And for those of you that might not be familiar with what that really means, that's pretty cool. So we look forward to tremendous media coverage. We have great women's basketball, and the fact that the media has embraced and will embrace our great brand of women's basketball is very exciting. And again, I can't stress enough how much it impressed us that everywhere we went that day, people knew who we were and why we were here. And that really went a long, long way. As well, we look at all the different things that the Quad Cities provides our coaches in terms of something very, very important in women's basketball, and that's the neutral site opportunity. Our coaches have been unanimous in the last several years when we've discussed the feasibility of sticking with a neutral site or going back to college campuses. And it's been very, it's been unanimous, and it's been something that has been repeated over and over again from our coaches. So I can't stress that enough, that that's one thing that was so important to us as we looked at a place to go, that we could be at a neutral site that would provide a great opportunity for our student athletes. Many of us, coaches, administrators who've been in this for a while, remember back in the day the Big 12 Conference being in Salina, Kansas. Anybody here been in Salina, Kansas? All right, there's a few. For many years, Salina, Kansas, Big 12 women's basketball was about the only thing. But it was such a well-received tournament and so successful because, again, everybody was all in. And it made that tournament very, very successful. The downtown, vibrant, walkable, so many different things to do. Again, when we were here, so many ideas. And I think the really important thing is that day when we were sitting here dreaming, nobody said no. It was, yes, good idea, let's think about it. And just a world of opportunities, I think, opened up for all of us. The main selling point for me when I presented this to our athletic administrators, and I'd only had one cup of coffee. It was probably good that I'd only had one. But something that has been so important to us in this whole venture, and it's the word partnership. We were looking for somewhere that really wanted to be our partner, not just a rental. And we felt that again from the minute we sat down and started talking about this tournament. We want to grow this. We're all willing to help do it, all of us on all of our campuses. It is going to take everyone. It's going to take everyone here today. And we want everybody to be involved, young, old, short, tall. We need lots of fans to come and watch our tremendous brand of basketball. And we want to continue to brand Missouri Valley Conference women's basketball. As you saw in the video, we have a very, very long history of success, great players, absolutely phenomenal coaches and leaders, and we want to continue that, but we need your help to continue to brand what we're trying to do. We appreciate the fact that you have a history here of hosting basketball, and I think that is really important. You've done it, you understand it, and it's going to help all of us as we continue to grow Missouri Valley Conference women's basketball. I think the fact that there's cooperation between the 5 municipalities through the CVB is very important. I am on our local sports commission, and I know how important it is to have lots of representation, lots of support, and most importantly, a lot of collaboration. And again, we're going to need everybody in this room today to help us collaborate on this. Today, I wore a Missouri Valley Conference championship ring. Every one of us on our campuses every day strive to win a Missouri Valley Conference championship and get a ring. I'm looking forward to all of you, our team in this room today, working with all of us to win that Missouri Valley championship when we host our first championship here, and I appreciate your support.
Thank you, Leanna. I'm looking for a motivational speaker for our annual meeting on September 17th at Bettendorf's Convention Center, and I think I need to talk to you about delivering a 10-minute program if you're available. So we'll talk. Yeah. If not this time, sometime in the future. We did have the almost perfect site inspection back in May. But we missed one really important little detail. I understand Leanna is a big fan of Whitey's ice cream. And if you were listening, if you're watching the John Deere Classic coverage on CBS Sunday afternoon, you heard CBS golf analyst David Faraday say that Whitey's ice cream is the best ice cream in the world. So we have spared no expense. We are serving Whitey's ice cream at the conclusion of today's event. So please help yourself. We know that we are all in, and we can all be all in starting today. The Quad Cities Convention and Visitors Bureau has a website. Missouri Valley Conference, MVCQuadCities.com. You can go to that website and you can leave your name and contact information, and we'll collect that. And as details come along, as tickets go on sale, as we have news releases, as more details come through, we'll be able to communicate with you through that website. So Missouri MVCQuadCities.com, the initials QuadCities.com. So we're all about selling tickets. And I'm happy to report we have already sold the first ticket. Is Mayor Reyes here by any chance? I don't believe he was able to make it. So, Mayor Robert Gallagher of Bettendorf.
Thanks, Scott. I didn't have to pay for it.
Purchase the first ticket. Ticket number 1. So with that, we, the folks at Cordova Dragway, folks from Missouri Valley Conference, will be happy to take questions, conduct one-on-ones. And I guess I do, Allison. I have a drag racing story to tell you, so don't be afraid of your first event here at Cordova. Back, I think it was 1956, there was a young guy, a young driver, nobody knew him, and he raced at Cordova, and at that time happened to beat the national champion. And that launched his career. Might be somebody you've heard of, Big Daddy Don Garlitz. So I think if you are successful in winning the event, you might be the next Big Daddy Don Garlitz on the female jet dragster side. So who knows? History in the making right here in the Quad Cities. So with that, Patty and Leanna and Scott, if you want to come on up, we'll answer any questions.
I have a question.
Yes, Leanna has you can have as many scoops of ice cream as you want. That's the answer.
Is it true that you'd like to donate one of those cars to the winning team in the first Missouri Valley Conference Championship? Did I hear you say that? Or
Unfortunately, I don't own the cars, but I could donate some tickets. So we'll find something. And congratulations to you folks. It's awesome.
Yes. What other cities were being considered? And I'll turn that over to Patty to answer.
We sent the request for proposal, the RFP, to about 8 different cities in our geographic footprint, really anywhere that we could find a building that would represent a neutral site. A number of them had date conflicts. For instance, in Des Moines, they had the Iowa Girls State High School Tournament, which conflicted, and so we weren't able to capitalize on those. We had 3 bids submitted, and it included where we currently are through 2015, the Family Arena in St. Charles, Missouri, and Cedar Rapids, Iowa. But again, the decision was easy.
Other questions? If not, we're available for one-on-one interviews. Please enjoy ice cream. You can see the cars and the stars right outside the door. So thank you, everybody. We're looking forward to drag racing this weekend and Missouri Valley Conference Women's Basketball Championships in 2016. Thank you very much.
The nation's second oldest athletics conference, the Missouri Valley Conference, has a revered place in the sport of women's basketball. Featuring 10 NCAA Division I institutions in 5 states, the Valley is one of the premier women's hoops leagues in the country, sending an average of 4 MVC teams to post play in each of the last 10 seasons. The 108-year-old conference has had 2 Final Four teams, Missouri State in 1992 and 2001, a WNIT champion, Missouri State in 2005, and 3 WNIT semifinalists, Illinois State in 2009, 2010, and 2011. The history of MVC women's hoops is filled with notable alumni, including the NCAA's all-time scoring leader, Jackie Stiles of Missouri State, and the NCAA's career rebounding average leader, Wanda Ford of Drake. Coaching legends like Jill Hutchison of Illinois State, Carol Baumgarten of Drake, and Cheryl Burnett of Missouri State are highly recognized innovators and contributors to the sport. In 2016, the Missouri Valley Conference looks forward to calling its home for the MVC Women's Basketball Tournament, the iWireless Center in the Quad Cities. Featuring all 10 teams, the 4-day tournament begins on Thursday, March 10, and concludes with a game on Sunday, March 13th, with all 9 games being televised on ESPN3. Current Valley head coaches features a who's who in terms of former Final Four players, including Loyola's Cheryl Swoops, Missouri State's Kelly Harper, and Wichita State's Jody Adams. With a proud past, outstanding coaching and playing pedigree, and an even brighter future, the Missouri Valley Conference can't wait to begin play at iWireless Center in 2016.